absolutely, it'll go back. Not anytime soon, please.
No, give me a minute, girl. Give me a
Go
minute.
around the world once. But yeah, absolutely.
Well, Bones, firstly, listen.
Thank you.
I mean, what a well-deserved win. I know I saw you last night, so I've already kind of said it, but just for the sake of the interview, let me just repeat
Right.
myself. But, genuinely, what a season. I think, you had such a unique trajectory, actually, in terms of like the Drag
I
Race
think
UK
so,
women.
yeah.
Yeah. How are you feeling? Like, how are you feeling? It's the day after
Yeah,
Hayes.
God, I'm over the moon, as you can tell by my my I'm just so such a bundle of energy. But no, I'm so over the moon. It's just I mean it's dreams come true for a drag queen, So it's just it's like it's crazy. I don't know at what point that it'll really settle in, but I mean you saw me last night, everyone's like, well done. I'm like,
I know.
thanks.
It's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot.
It's crazy. I mean, it is one of those things. It's like, I started watching Drag Race when I was like, oh God, like 13, I think. And who would have thought? Definitely not me.
Well, you say definitely not you, but a lot of us did, and this is what's
Well,
funny. You've got this iconic like reputation on the scene in London, which anyone from here knows about. But I think seeing it transcend to the show, it was really because I was familiar with your drag before you actually went on it, but seeing it really translate, what was that like for you?
yeah, well, it was one of, you just never really know going in. And like, what are they gonna give me? You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like they're gonna throw some, and it's like, I feel like it's whatever you do in that first like half a day is them deciding like, okay, we can go this way with it. So I mean, as soon as I walk in last, I'm like, oh God, pressure's on. And I'm already a nervous person anyway. So then it's like a table full of 11 girls. I'm like, oh, it's hard kind of going in with a bit of a reputation. But then at the same time, I'm like, I never really let that get in the way. You know what I mean? I'm not like, oh, Queen of Soho, boo. I
No,
was like,
totally, yeah.
I'm just doing the gigs.
But listen, talking about that first day briefly, like you
Mm.
said, you just said you're a nervous person. What was it like walking into that workroom? It must be, I can only imagine it's so intimidating. Did you, when you saw that cast, think, okay, I'm gonna win this, or no?
Ah, hmm. I don't know, and I think it's because it's one of them. Like, you kind of think you know who's going to be there when you get there. So then you do your picture and you turn and look at the guards, and I was like, oh, ooh. And then I was like, oh, and it was like, oh, I'm thrown off now because in my head I was going to win that week, and then she'd win that one, and then she'd win that one. So it was kind of like, oh, okay. So it was a bit. I was like, I needed to kind of work out what Sally did, what Bonnie did, what Elle did. Katrin did. These people that I'd not really like met, worked with before. So I was confident, and I was very confident in my runways. But I did kind of go into it being like, I'm really happy to be here. So let's just see what happens, kind
Yeah,
of thing. So
yeah.
I've got to be happy with whatever because I've actually made it. Um, I think it was only kind of after halfway through that I was like, you know what? I could win this. I've made it halfway now, I might as well make it to the
The
end.
thing is, half the battle, like is just getting on the show. So it's like once you're there, it's actually just about like now let's
Oh,
actually just do it.
that's nice. Yeah.
You mentioned in your answer there your runways, and I had to, we have to talk about this because something I've found really interesting as a viewer is your creative process and how you put things together is so unique. And, I've said it to a few of the queens this season, but we are 7 seasons in now. It's really hard to come and bring something that hasn't been presented before. And I
For
think
sure.
you've really done that. Can you
Thank
talk
you.
me through a little bit like your creative process? The thing that's coming to mind for me, when you wore your green dress last week in the garden theme look, that
Hmm.
dress is something that's been worn before, but you put little touches on it that made it
Yeah.
so unique and special. Talk me through that. Like, how do you get from deciding, like, thinking of a look to actually bringing it to the stage?
Yeah. It definitely runs in the fact me and Flesh are the worst for it because we have an idea and then we build on it and then we build on it and then we build on it. To the point that it's not even anything like the original idea. But that is kind of how my creative process works. So and I mean, God, with that green dress, it was like I was trying to save money. You know what I mean? I was like, well, yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna rent that because I don't want to get something made. But then also, I need to because people have worn it. It was like I need to put something on it that makes it. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like it's hard with Drag Race. Sometimes you can take it so far that it doesn't make sense anymore, or sometimes you do something that like it really reads well, so you just don't really know which way it's going to go. So it's definitely a risk, but that's just kind of how I do drag. You know what I mean? It's like that's always been, and you know, I've said it before, but I never came into drag through like the stage or blah blah blah. It was always just being putting nice outfits on, going to the club, making sure people recognize you, being the person that people turn to. You know what I mean? And so it's always my drag's always been take a bit of that, do a bit of this, do that. Well, what can this be? Da da da. Let me cut this, and you know what I mean. So
Totally, yeah.
yeah, just I think it's just how I've always kind of approached runways and looks and stuff like that. You know.
You have a real eye for like what to pair with what, though, is something as well that I've really noticed. Like using that green dress again as an example, the
Mhm.
wig, like it was like the perfect wig, the perfect shoe. You know, when you're creating a look, like not even just that, you know, you've had so many, like another one that's coming to mind is your pink kind of bow, you
Mhm.
know which one I mean. You know, how do you decide once you've actually got that outfit made, okay, this is the hair, this is the makeup, these are the shoes. Is there anything that do you have a process? Like how does it work?
Well, kind of my process is a bit scatty to be honest, because I think when
I
when the
love
girls
that word so much, Sky.
I know, well, because that is me. I am the scattiest person. Um, the when you come into a show, I think the girls are like, okay, this is the runway, so this is the wig, this is the look, these are the shoes, here's the jewelry. I kind of don't do that. I have a big bag of jewelry and I had loads of boxes of wigs, so it was kind of very much like see what it's like when I get there. So it was like for that green dress, I had like I had like a blonde, like mermaid wave hair with it. I had a brown toss over. So I had a few that it was like, depending on how I'm feeling on the day,
Mm,
is what I'll put with it. Because then it's also like how I feel my best. You know what I mean? There's nothing worse than getting there and being like, oh, I actually don't like this anymore, and now I've got to wear
totally, I completely get that.
it.
Yeah.
Over prepare for sure.
And listen, Bones, I have to ask you. So look, you are the second Crystal Versace House of Drag winner.
Hmm.
Have you spoken to Crystal?
No,
Oh, you
okay.
haven't yet.
I literally not even reply to anyone.
Right,
The only people I have spoken to is my mum and dad. But yeah, no, I think I need to go to bed and then I will then pick up my phone and spend a good few days going through everything. But I've seen all the love coming in. It's just,
good.
oh
I mean,
God, it's
agreed on needing to go to bed, but you know, that's a convo for another day. Speaking of your mum and dad, this was something I
hmm
did want to ask you about. Obviously, your mum was in the episode last night, and you spoke about how supportive your family have been of your drag and your identity and whatnot. And you even, you know, you acknowledged how lucky you are in that. But talk about that. Like, how has that been to have that support from, because a lot of, you know, I don't need to say this, but a lot of people in our community
Well,
obviously
yeah,
don't get that, you know.
you can't really describe it, but to have like that. So, and this is that. I mean, you know, my parents aren't the most modern parents ever. You know, they're in their 60s. They've very much lived different lives to what I lived, but it's that kind of modern way of thinking of being like, okay, things can change and be different. And I think that's really what my parents hold. If they don't know something, I'll tell them. I'll be like, okay. They'll ask questions,
Mm,
and I think it's kind of the best way because you know that's the thing. We're always surrounded by people that have had. Well, I feel like I'm surrounded by people that have had such less
yeah,
fortunate,
totally.
and it always comes from an ignorance or you know, and it's just yeah, it's one of the things. It's like you can the only thing you can do when you've got it is kind of pass it on to the people around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, it makes life a lot easier.
Ain't that the truth? Listen, listen,
Yeah.
listen. And look, Bones, we are so tight on time, even though I want to talk to you all day. So I'm going to just power through a few bits. But something I
Right,
have to
bed.
ask you, which I'm so sorry to ask this because I know literally every person you speak to today is going to be asking you this annoying question. I acknowledge that up front, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to ask it. I know you only won last night, literally less than what, maybe like 15 hours ago. But All Winners 2 is always being spoken about. You are now in the winner's circle. Is that something you would ever consider?
Oh my God, I would absolutely die to go back. Like I said, I was like, it was the best, how many weeks for filming of my life. Like I had so much fun. It felt like drag summer camp. I mean, I was obviously quite fortunate with the end result, you know, so I can say it was like summer camp, but it was like I just had the best time. And it's, you know, when you're a workhorse queen and you're doing the same crap all the time, and it's just to kind of, it really helped me really find my love for drag.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, absolutely, it'll go back. Not anytime soon, please.
No. Give me a minute, girl. Give me a
But
minute.
around the world once. But yeah, absolutely.
I
I'd
love
do
it.
it.
Okay, well, listen, we've got two things left to do. One of them is going to be some fun quick-fire questions. I say they're fun. They might not be, honey. You might hate them. Let's find out. But listen, so these ones just say the first, yeah, literally. This one just say like, the first thing that comes to mind, like
Okay.
quick-fire, girl, quick-fire.
Yeah.
Did you have any Snatch Game characters in mind that were not presented on the show?
I had Renata Bliss, my freestyle dance teacher.
Oh,
Uh,
cute.
I did. Oh, well, I did her and Helena Bonham Carter in my audition tape, and then Alan. But I'm like, girl, no one wants to see me do impressions.
I do think impressions, it's one of those things you either do or you don't. Like, do you know what I mean? And Bonnie can impersonate Cheryl.
Great.
So there we go.
Yeah.
What was your favorite runway look you presented?
My Brit Gala, or my hometown.
You.
If you
Yeah.
actually talk about runways, hometown. But my favorite look, I think, was my Brit Gala.
Lovely. And what was your favorite challenge?
BruceCon.
And within that, you obviously had three wins. Which one of those are you most proud of?
Oh, makeover for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I think that's steamrolled, girl,
Like,
steamrolled. So we love to see it. We love to see it. And what would be your dream lip sync song?
ooh, it was on our list, but it wasn't used. Was Angel of My Dreams. Ah.
Don't piss me
But
off.
also
Use that.
one
Listen,
that was used, which I was kind of like, I wish I had that one. Pearls.
cute.
Pearls by Jessie Ware.
Love
Like
that
I
song.
was like, that's the one I want. And then when it went, I was like, oh God.
Yeah, literally. Who was the kindest queen this season, would you say?
Try.
Few people have said Chai, yeah, believe that.
Yeah. Dear sweetie.
Yeah. Who's the shadiest on the other end?
Catching.
Girl, listen, catch not another one.
She's catching strays.
I spoke to her about this last night. I was like, why is everyone saying you're so shady? She was like,
Because
oh,
she's kind of, she's a bit like me in the sense that it's like, I just, she loves to just throw a one line in, you know?
yeah, it's not
It's like,
out of
I don't need to
malice.
do anything without it being like, oh, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, but yeah,
Yeah.
she's a bitch.
And who would be your dream guest judge?
Florence and the Machine.
Fucking, not me swearing, listen. Not me, listen, I broke character to swear because that's how much I love Florence and the Machine.
Florence and the Machine. Florence and the Machine, or I think Paloma Faith would be great.
Oh, but listen, girl, I'm about to get up and
I
leave. I
know.
love her. Listen, I interviewed her a few years ago. She's so camp. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And look, if you didn't do Drag Race, which show would we see you on?
Ooh. Well, probably the news.
The news.
No, I don't know.
No, the news is the answer, honey. Don't worry,
Okay.
that's your answer. We're
Yeah.
locked. And listen, something I've done, I'm gonna get my phone out for this. Something I did for this interview, which I've never done before, and I was kind of scared to do because the fans do be a little bit crazy sometimes, let's be honest, is I asked for fan questions. And
Ah,
we actually got some really good ones, so I'm gonna do a few of them while we have a minute or two left.
okay.
This one is from Catherine. I feel like I'm like a proper like you bringing up the news. I feel like I'm on BBC News or something.
Hello.
This is from Catherine, who says, okay, I'm going to actually just read out what she's written, so it's not me saying it. This is Catherine.
Mhm.
I'd love to know how Bones feels about the way her reputation as the Queen of Soho was presented. She was being referred to as untouchable from episode one, but I never found the story in person to align because she came across as very humble, reserved, and very human. She was clearly confident in her talent, but not arrogant at all. So I think they're kind of saying,
Catherine.
love Catherine. Listen,
Ah, Catherine.
you're presented obviously in a way that's like, yeah, like she said, a little bit untouchable, but the person behind it is not like that. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, God, Queen of Soho was very much just like take a brand. I always say I'm like take a brand and run with it until people
Yeah.
recognize it. And when we did Keeping Up with Crystal Versace, that was in my little bones thing underneath. It said Queen of Soho, so I ran with it. I was like, the BBC gave it me, not me.
Who
So,
am I to say no to the BBC? Listen.
the first person that said it, I think, was Tayris when I walked in the workroom, and I was like, okay, we're running with that. And then Rue brought it up. So it's, I'd never really kind of approached it with this like Queen of Soho to the star, but I think it's a vibe that you can give across when you do nice makeup and you're not the person in the room and da 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 da.
Yeah.
That it comes across that you're untouchable and blah blah blah. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not really at all, but I've said it all the time. I'm like, my title of the Queen of Soho has never come about because I've been untouchable or
No, I get that.
Like I make sure that I leave every room with everyone in there being like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, listen, like I'll vouch for that as well. I'll say, I've met you a few times now, and I've found you very easy to, without even knowing you, just come up and have a chat. You know what I mean? So and that's how it should
You
be.
know what I mean? It should be
Yeah.
that, when you're like, oh, I want a night out on a Friday. Who should I message? Oh, I'll ask Bo and see what she's doing. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
you kind of
That feel it guest list girl, listen.
exactly, honey. Again, I'm the guess of it.
Listen, do you know what I mean? Right. This one is from Caitlin. I liked this one because I said something similar to you a few weeks ago, but what are her favorite makeup brands to use for that flawless beat?
Ooh, so I've like stayed with the same makeup ever since I started drag, and it's never done me wrong. MAC on the face, always. I've used this Rimmel Match Perfection setting palette since I started drag, and honestly, it sorts you out. There's definitely better ones out there, but it's like £8 and you can get it from Boots. So love her. And then NYX is always great, and always prime, and moisture.
Girl, I've got my little timer on the floor right now. Right, we've got time for one more.
Mhm.
Let's see. Oh, there's a few, girl. Let's see. Catherine asked, how's it feel to be on Drag Race, but we're ignoring that one. I've already asked you that. Okay, do you know, actually, we've kind of got, okay, no, we'll do this one. This one's cute, but we'll have to be very quick for time.
Okay.
This one is from someone called Grass. I love
Love.
her so much. I related a lot to Bones in a lot of ways, but specifically in the Snatch Game episode when she was like, I don't want you to misread my mannerisms as defeatism, etc. As a person who's also more laid back and quiet, my reactions and tone always tend to get misread, and I'm curious if that's something Bones has had to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. And it's this thing. It's like I would love to talk with a really expressive voice, but I just don't. You know what I mean? And everyone just reads it as me being miserable and boring. But it's it's just kind of one of the things. It is definitely something that you kind of have to work on. But it's
Yeah.
I'm like, if people haven't got that you're a great person within the first however long of speaking to you, then you're doing something wrong.
And look, lastly, Bones, I know you've just won and you need some time to, process and everything. But what's next for you? What are you hoping to achieve now that you've got this amazing feat under your belt?
It's just taking it to the next level. It's like it really applying for Drag Race for me was the next step in my career, and to have done it and achieve the dream goal is the confirmation for me to just carry on with what I'm doing.
Again, congratulations. Such a well-deserved win. I'm so happy that we're here having this conversation. And I
Thank
think
you.
the best note to end on
Uh-huh.
is what is your favorite song from Norman fucking Rockwell? Since I
Ooh,
spoke to you.
Mariner's apartment complex.
Same,
As soon as that piano starts,
same,
I'm
100%. They mistook my kindness for weakness. I effed up, I know that, but Jesus. No, listen, girl, right.
baby. Oh!
Right, that's the best note we could ever end on. Have the best day. Enjoy the best, the rainy. I'm sure I'll see you around, but listen.
Sure you will.